tied to his tail. You could hear him moan, you could hear him wail.
What's up, YouTube? I'm gonna do another horse tales for you. Yeah, I was off the bikes for a pretty good while after my accident. I bought the 1986 Moto Guzzi out there, and got it running pretty good. Rode around here for a few months. Actually got it for myself for my birthday. You know, my other bikes is just, even if I got them running, they aren't really the highway compatible bikes that I needed at the time, because I worked about 45 miles away, and it's mostly highway. But there was what they call the Horse Backstreet Chopper Magazine Shootout or Smokeout in Mocksville, North Carolina, I think it was. There's a little drag strip down there called Farmington, which I knew where that was. I'd been down there once before with a friend running a alcohol top sportsman 55 Funny Bird or 55 Thunderbird. We'd went down there to a race, and so I pretty much knew where it was, but I'd been there in quite a while. I decided to go ahead and go for it. And where I was working at, you know, I was required to work 45 hours a week. I was salary, so I made arrangements with my boss. I could take off Thursday, Friday, and I worked third shift too. I could take off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I'd have all day Monday until I needed to be there at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. So that's not a problem. I think it's about 6.5, 7 hours to where I was going. It's, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 miles north of Charlotte, North Carolina. So I took off out of here in the morning, I don't know, 10 o'clock or so. Pretty uneventful. I didn't stop for anything but gas, and I kept water and stuff in my coat. But I'd pull up to the gas pump, fill up my tank. I wouldn't even get off the bike. And kind of looking back on it, it's kind of a jackass move, but you know, I'd fill up the bike, take a leak right there. Wouldn't even get off the bike. Just take a leak right there, start the bike up and go. When I got down there, I got turned around and kind of got lost a little bit. But by the time I got there about 4:30, almost 5 o'clock in the evening on Friday night. That was a pretty good little trip. But yeah, I got down there, got registered for the show, got my tickets and stuff, looked for somewhere to sleep. Didn't have a whole lot of budget for this, but you know, I would have settled for a $30, $40 a night hotel room. Couldn't find anything everywhere I went. Like I said, I don't know the area real well, but everywhere I went was booked up, because the same weekend there was also a dirt bike race down there. But I just happened to go down this one, wasn't a whole lot more than a cow path, but went down this one road and seen a sign that says camping, which I had my tent and stuff with me. So that's cool. So I pulled in there, and it's an old farm. And guy come out. He goes, I'm just getting started on my campground here. He said, farming's not working out too well, so I figured I'd just start a campground. Which he had the road cut and it was kind of primitive. But he had an old barn they turned into a shower area and stuff. Had a lounge in there. There was a bunch of campers there, but there wasn't anybody camping. Looked more like maybe a storage area. And it was right on top of a mountain. Beautiful, beautiful scenery. And you know, old dude said, well, you know, you can camp over here. He said, I made this place for tents. He said, I graded it out, I rolled it, I planted some soys of grass so I don't have to cut it a whole lot. He said, this is a good, nice area for tents. I said, alright. So I laid my tent out. A little bit later he come out, offered me something to eat. I said, yeah. So his wife made me a sandwich, come out and give it to me. It was on toast, which I don't care for sandwiches on toast, but figured I'd make a turd. That would main function of food, right? A little bit later he comes out, he goes, well, I've got this lounge area, and he said if it starts to rain or anything, you're welcome to pull your motorcycle in there and sleep on the couch. I went in there and looked around. Had a nice shower area and TV, couch, tables. You kind of a little kitchenette thing going on. It was pretty nice. It was $7 a night. All right. So I got up the next morning, headed over to the drag strip, and I left all my stuff there, and got to the drag strip. One of the guys that is a writer for the magazine, George Purcell, George the Painter, whatever you want to call him. I like his ramblings and writings and stuff, but he's a pretty cool guy. I got to meet him. That's one of the things I wanted to do, was meet him. I got to meet him, ended up buying him a sandwich and a root beer. We sat there and talked for a little bit. It was pretty exciting to me. And yeah, it was miserably hot. Of course, all I was wearing for a shirt was my wife beater. Ended up getting burnt pretty bad. But I looked around, got to see a lot of cool bikes and so forth. Kind of rested up from the day before. And it was about a 30-mile ride back to the campground. So 5, 6 o'clock I got back on the bike, headed back that way. Got the shower. Man, I was burnt up. I was glad the hot water tank took a long time to warm up. I took a nice cool shower, laid down, was fixing to head back to town, give me something to eat, and guy's wife come out. She's a real nice lady. She offered me some supper. I said, that's fine. So I headed up to the house, and she come out, and I guess they don't want me to go in the house, but she come out with a plate and had some real nice Salisbury steak and mashed taters and carrots and green beans and cornbread. I ate pretty good. But next morning I got up, headed out. Had a little bit more challenging on the way home. But yeah, I got to Charleston, West Virginia, and it started pouring. Now, if you've ever been through Charleston, West Virginia, you know what I'm talking about here. It's kind of right on the edge right on the side of a mountain on one side, and then there's a creek or a river, whatever you want to call it, on the other side. And I don't really care much for bridges, especially on the highway at highway speeds on a motorcycle in the rain. And some of the exits are pretty windy. So I got down and I traversed across the great city of Charleston, West Virginia. Kind of got lost a little bit, quit raining, pulled over, dried off, talked to some folks who was taking off their rain gear too, and there was an old grocery store. It closed down, and I was pretty much just standing there behind my motorcycle, about half naked. People driving by watching me. So I got loaded up. They was working on the road. They was building a kind of a bypass on US 35 through there. There was mud all over the road. Ended up getting mud on me and the bike. It started raining again a little bit. Then got on, I think it still may be US 35. I can't remember. It may be 7 or something like that. But got on that and started raining a little bit again. Then I got behind some coal trucks. Then I had coal trucks coming at me from the other direction, slinging water and whatnot all over the road, and I'd already taken off my rain gear. So I got back on the good section of 35, headed from like from Gallipolis up to Jackson, and they was working on it. Had a step on the road. I know it had to have been 4 or 5 inches to get from the exit ramp up onto the road. So I just rode on the side of the road for a little bit until I got up to where they finally quit grinding on the road. Got over, started, opened up my jacket and dried off. When I ride, I always ride with all my gear on, my padded jacket, my helmet and so forth. So I raised up the visor on my helmet and got it dried out, opened up my jacket, got my shirt dried out, my pants dried out, and everything except my bottom. And got just about within 14 miles of my house and it started raining again. But the trip that took me, I don't know, a little over 6 hours going down, took me about 14 hours coming back. That was kind of a bad deal, but I got back nice and safe and had a good time, and that was my big road trip on my Moto Guzzi. It was sort of interesting. Found out I wasn't as young as I used to be, and had a real good time, had nice stories to tell. I appreciate you guys watching. Hope everybody's having a good Sunday. It's kind of raining a little bit here. I gotta get finish cleaning up my shop. Might get some polyurethane down on the workbench part of my new shelf here. Alright, thanks for watching, guys.